An Alberta man is being recognized for helping broker a peace deal in East Africa. Ahmed Abdulkadir is a community organizer in Edmonton and the executive director of OSCAR, the Ogaden Somali community of Alberta residents. Ahmed flew to Canada in the early 1990s as a teenager when violence erupted between the Ethiopian government and the Ogaden National Liberation Front. But recent political changes in Ethiopia have suddenly made peace between the two groups a possibility. And Ahmed Abdulkadir was called on for help, and he joins us now on the line from Edmonton. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
So how did you get this call to help in the negotiations?
It was a combination of luck and time where we were discussing, a few of us, how we can contribute to this new environment that's changing in Ethiopia. We outreach some of the ONLF leadership and ask them what exactly it takes for them to accept the peace offer that the Ethiopian Prime Minister made. And then all suddenly they were extremely interested in myself and another individual Dr. Ugas, for us to go to Addis Ababa for the first time after almost 30 years. So that was the initial contact with the ONLF leadership.
Now, and many people may not be familiar with what caused the conflict between the Ogaden National Liberation Front and the Ethiopian government in the first place. Can you briefly help us understand what that conflict is about?
That conflict is rooted back all the way to the British colony when British basically divided in Somalia, similarly how the Kurdish and Turkish, so some of the, even Iraq, people are divided into different areas. In the Somali region of Ethiopia, it was subsequently given to Ethiopia by the British. But to make a long story short, in 1991, on the Ogaden National Liberation Front participated peace deal with the Ethiopian government. It became part of the Ethiopia. But 1994, and they won 85% of the election at that time when they participated. But 1994, the Ethiopian government basically ousted and arrested and killed a lot of ONLF leadership. And that conflict that's when they took an army struggle, and it continued until basically 6 months ago. That's last 3 months they've been secession, and fortunately a month ago, October 21st, 3 weeks ago, we were successfully have a peace deal. Yeah,
what has changed in Ethiopia to make this peace deal a possibility in the first place?
3 months ago, actually not April 1st, there was a new prime minister that came, Ethiopia, that completely changed the way Ethiopian regime is previously thought about running the country. First, he made a peace deal with Eritrea that over 50 years there was war between Ethiopia and Eritrea. He made a peace deal with them, give land back. Then all the liberation fronts who were fighting against Ethiopia, whether it's the Oromo Liberation Front or the Ogaden National Liberation Front or Gimbo 7, who was another group who were fighting, all of them, he said that they are not terrorists no more. He opened in the media. He said that we will treat everybody fairly and equally, and we want every Ethiopian to come back to the country. So that was the window of the opportunity that we took on specifically, and that's what made me go to Addis Ababa, expecting that I will be in jail when I land there, since I was always advocating against the human rights abuses that's been taking place in the Ogaden region, specifically the Somali side of Ethiopia.
So clearly you did not wind up in jail and made progress, but how hopeful are you that this deal will hold and that this peace will last given recent history? Pessimistically hopeful. I'll put it that way. I'm grateful that this peace deal has taken place, but it is fragile. It is
It depends on how long this prime minister stays in power,
Right.
which is sad. And at the same time, how the international community enforce this kind of peace and what kind of support that our government, even Canadian government, could give to sustain this kind of peace.
Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon.
Oh, thanks for having me.
That is Ahmed Abdulkadir, the executive director of the Ogaden Somali community of Alberta residents. We reached him this afternoon in Edmonton, and Susan Holtzman is here now with the latest in traffic.